three, actually, but this is the Q&A to um, Chickens Coming Home to Roost, part one and two. Now we go into Q&A. The Q&A is called Chiefin' with the Chief, a Detroit Red Wings. And the reason why I named it like I did, because Malcolm was called Detroit Red in New York. And wherever he at, if they tell me that nigga ain't got no angel wings, I'm ready to fight. If that nigga ain't in the physical form, wherever he at, if he ain't got no angel wings, it better not be damn motherfucker with no angel wings. If Malcolm ain't got none. Period. Right? So, I'm going to start with Brother Michael Phoenix down here. Because he was the oldest one on the... You know, while I'm doing this, y'all know what time it is. Chiefing with the Chief. How is it going to be chiefing with the Chief if the Chief ain't chiefing? Peace, God.
What's good, man? Yeah, you coming in loud and clear now.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, anything to help, I'm all with it. But see, a lot of times it don't be me, and I try to fix it, and it just end up I get frustrated and won't do the live. But that be the social media sources.
Right. Yeah.
If you was looking at the comments when they was talking about they couldn't hardly hear me, it was some people saying, "We hear you just fine, keep going," but other people was like, "I can't hardly hear you. I can't hardly hear you." That's good. Those volumes is affected by um, controlling the algorithm. So however they want to, they only want so many people to hear what's being said.
Right.
So when it gets to a certain number of people, it start blocking the sound of other people.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah.
So tell the people your name, man, where you calling from, so we can get on into this chat.
Yeah, it's Michael Phoenix, man. You know, they in my neighborhood they call me Mike Will Dirty Red. I'm from River Rouge, Michigan.
Oh, you right
Red
down for me.
Yeah. You know, the home of the Black Panthers, maroon and white. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you know River Rouge mean Red River.
Right. Yep.
Right. I had to bring that up because we talking about Detroit Red, Malcolm X, and that's another knock.
Right. That's why I brought it up.
Right. And then when your name is Dirty Red. Right. I had my cousin and them grew up, they had a best friend named Dirty Red.
So
Dirty Red had a brother named Misi. One of them killed the other one over a chicken wing.
Wow.
Here we is, chickens coming home to roost. They turned the Audubon ballroom into a barbecue joint. Barbecue was leading the revolution in Haiti. But I'm getting an Apollo knockoff of a songbird that sung Black Coffee at a Farrakhan Betty Shabazz meeting in Detroit. Apollo means destroyer. Right. Now you got two places in New York. You got the Audubon Ballroom, and then you got the Apollo. The Audubon is a German knock on a high-speed expressway. Right. A ballroom is where you go to dance. That's a Chicago knock on a stepper set. Right. We call it in Detroit gigging. Right. So when we get to gigging, we go from gigging to what? Jitting. Get city in this motherfucker, right? Crazy legs. We getting that shit. Right? But all of these are tribal messages being delivered through cultural phenomenon. And it's natural to who he is. And I'm pointing out because the ones of us that recognize what I'm pointing out recognize that our culture never left. So when Malcolm said we was robbed of our names, robbed of our cultures, or that was Khalid. You know, by the way some of us act, maybe you think we even lost our man.
That was Khalid.
Right. So all the time, our culture never was gone nowhere. The only thing they stole, they paper genocided us out of our identity. And tried to replace us with $5 Indians that they brought from the Mongolian wars. If you don't know they was fighting Mongolians, Huns, and Vedics, you won't never know where them motherfuckers came from, because them was the slaves they brought over here. So and then so all this stuff is like all synchronicities to me. Like I ain't really interested in being on here right now. But Big Mama told me get off my ass and go get on the motherfucking social media. I got something to talk about. So I told her, I was like, I don't know, but I go talk. I don't got nothing to say. She said, yeah, by the time you get there, you're gonna have something to say. You're gonna be talking about Brother Malcolm.
Right.
And my sister used to call me Brother Malcolm as a funny nickname that they gave me when I came home from the joint.
Yeah,
They started calling me Brother Malcolm.
Right.
Yeah.
Because all the books you was reading and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then dude at work, his name was Clay. Clay was in my team. I was the team leader. And I didn't know this for the longest, but they used to try to ask me about shit that I don't know something about.
Right.
One day Clay called me. He said, come here, Rod. He said, what kind of motherfucker is you? I'm like, what you mean? He said, man, everything somebody asks you about, you can go into intimate detail like you was there. I was like, I don't know, man. I just answered the question they gave me. But we can't ask you nothing you don't know something about. I said, yeah, I know what I don't know about, but I ain't going to tell you so you can use it against me.
Right. That's how it be.
But yeah, that's, hey, so, yeah, but they calling me Brother Malcolm. Here he is on El Haj Malik El Shabazz, knocking like a motherfucker.
Right.
On
We gonna continue.
Autobahn, ballroom,
We gonna
step and step.
continue to knock a little bit. Yeah, my birthday 4/22. Then my mother got
420, 422 is 44 on the angel flip.
Right.
And you was born with angel wings, baby.
Right. Then my mom's she got 6 sisters, so there's 7 of them.
7 sisters, Pleiadian seal.
The oldest sister, her name Betty, and Betty's older daughter is Donna. And I was in
Betty,
go ahead.
that's a Black Madonna knock. Black Betty, Shrine of the Black Madonna.
Right.
Madonna means Donna's mama.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And the Shrine of the Black Madonna is from Detroit.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. And I was in the Marine. I was in the Marine Corps. Marine Corps birthday happened to be November 10th.
Semper Fi, motherfuckers. You don't know what's going on. Semper motherfucking Fi.
Right. So, like I said, we was gonna continue to knock a little bit.
Yes, sir. So I went to go join the military and I signed up to be a Marine and I missed the test by 1 point, so they say.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
Well, they weren't gonna let me in nowhere. They knew who I was and I wasn't aware of that fact. So they weren't gonna never let they knew who I was. They would never let me in the military. That's the wrong nigga to let in this shit because he gonna take over the first chance he get.
Right, yeah. See,
they already know.
They played me. They wouldn't give me rank because I had the attitude, you know. I was good at my job. I did infantry, you know, that's a foot soldier, basically.
Sir, I know the rankings. I love that military shit, dog.
Yeah, I was pretty good at my job, you know what I'm saying? But when it came down to it, I cuss the officer out. I cuss whoever the fuck I wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. So they ain't like that too much. And you know, I went through a couple of situations where I felt like they was trying to kill me, shit like that. You know, when I got out, I wanted to. This was back in like the early '90s. I was trying to get the fellas from the hood to start a little organization. You know, running through the hood, making sure everybody was doing what they were supposed to do. The dope dealers was putting money back in the neighborhood, stuff like that. Everybody thought I was talking crazy and shit, man. So, you know, I just went on.
If you go back to when we came up in the 80s, remember, YBI Pointed Down used to have picnics all the time.
Right, yep.
They have picnics all the time. Yep. When you come down here in Pontiac, the local dealers, they always was doing something to get back to the community because most of the people that was selling drugs in our community wasn't doing it to be a drug dealer. They was doing it because all of our motherfucking resources was cut off.
Yep.
We was cut off from our resources. We got to make a living, and we not the type of people gonna sit around. My song say best. One of them dudes live in my mama house or put be a man, go out in the streets and try to figure it out.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a New York knock. My song, The General. Man, this shit. My song is one of the most underrated rappers right now in the game.
Yeah, I ain't never heard him. I gotta check him out.
You look, he got a freestyle on 106 in Park, and he is it 106. I think it's 106 in Park. He got another one on Funkmaster Flex, but he got a song with Hobson. It's a part two to a Hobson song. Hobson got a song, and in the song he was talking about the real nigga blues. And then in the video that my song did, he bumped into Hobson on the street.
Okay.
And he was like, "Hey man, ain't you that Hobson guy?" He said, "Yeah." He said, I got a bone to pick with you. So he started telling me what real niggas do, right? And
Right.
then he said, what we need to do is like Autobots.
Right.
We need to
Right.
all get together and form one body and take this shit over. That's basically what he was telling me. But he was explaining the struggle so vivid. It's like he was talking my life and he don't even know me. Never seen me a day in his life. Man, how this nigga know me?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's how the code talkers, that's how you know when you being talked to in code.
Right.
Because it's a message in there for you, right? But the person that's talking might not never seen you before.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? The first one I got like that, I was in the county jail in Chicago. I just got locked up. And the sister come in the county jail. She with this guy named Hawk, which caught my attention. And she was telling us to use our time constructively. And she said, y'all got enough time, you can get a PhD while you in here. There's books everywhere. I listened to her. And when I got tired, a lady from Detroit have I forgot her name, but she's the sweetest sister that you ever want to meet. But she's from Detroit. And they go to the joint and they do African dance during Black History Month.
Okay.
So we in Black History Month, and I'm beating myself up on the yard because I'm like reading book after book after book after book. I'm like, this shit ain't doing it. It's not. It's worthless.
Right.
I felt like it was futile. It's worthless. I done read at this time probably 1,400 books. Right. I'm only like 4 years in.
Right. Damn.
Maybe 5 years, but they come up for Black History Month, and the sisters is dancing. She stopped them from dancing. She said, I got a message for somebody, but I don't know who it's for. She said, but the message is this: whatever you do, don't stop till you get your PhD. It don't matter what you get it in. God damn, that was some abrasive awareness.
Right.
Because it's like she was talking directly to me. I went and told her after it was over with. I said, that was my message. Because I got the same message in Chicago 5 years ago when I first got locked up.
Right.
Right. And in the middle of that, a brother gave me the same message. He was an old dope fiend off the east side of Detroit, old heroin addict. And he said, man, all these young brothers in here with all this time, all they want to do is chase boys, play basketball, and gamble at the gambling table. Don't none of them want to go to the library. Don't none of them want to go to the law library. He said, you're the only one I see read. He said, I'm going to tell you this. If you don't listen to nothing else a brother tell you, don't stop studying until you got your PhD. I was like, damn, where this motherfucker come from?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I used to get the messages from the crackheads back when I was younger. Everybody used to ask me, "Why you sitting there talking to him, man? Why you talking to him?" I'm like, because who I'm gonna get the knowledge from? He already know where he messed up at. You know what I'm saying? If I listen to him, I know what not to mess up at. You know, and everybody like, man, you a trip, man. A lot of them cats, they wound up going to prison and you know, some of them still out there trying to sell dope right now in their 50s and shit. And it's like, man.
Yeah, they don't think that the game changed. They're still stuck in their teenage years. That's a severe case of arrested development.
Right. Yep.
Right. I got a homeboy that's my man's. I mean, we didn't went to war together many times, but he can't stop serving, and the society is not the same as it was.
Right. Yep.
So you can't. In 89, 88, he could come out the county jail after a year, hit the block, flip a couple bricks, and now he's sitting pretty. You can't do that now. You're gonna flip a brick and end up in the penitentiary. It's just that quick.
Yep.
And the money is cut off in the dope game for the most part, unless you've been in it the whole time, and that's rare.
Yep.
The average motherfucker in the dope game got a 5-year lifespan, either his literal life or his hustle life.
Yeah.
If you make it past 5 years and you still breathing, you need to switch your profession real quick because your time is running out quick.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. That's real. That's real.
I hear Big Meech talking to me too.
Yeah, he from my neighborhood, man, out there
That's what
Southwest
he
Detroit.
just told me. I thought he was lying. He said that's what
Yeah.
my homeboy from my end.
Yep.
I,
He out.
I didn't even believe what was coming in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I knew
Yep.
it was Big Meech, but I'm like, no, that can't be. But I
Yep.
still go through that.
I grew up with a lot of them cats, man. You know, grew
Yeah.
up with a lot of them.
Meech learned how to live with money, with wealth, without it changing who he was at his core.
Yep.
Once he learned that, he became the chief responsible to teach the next young guys how to live without the money going to their head. Nigga, just because you got some money today don't mean you're going to have that shit tomorrow. Money come and go.
Right.
And if you want to keep money, keep doing the right thing because money is the side effect from repeatedly doing the right thing over and over. The
Right.
motherfucker
Yep.
is not finna hold Meech in there no another 2 years. It's not going to happen.
They can't do it. Nope.
They got to turn. He got to be turned out because he's one of the chiefs on the land. And he got a whole bunch of young niggas that he got to go knock straight. And I'm not doing his work for him.
Right.
I don't mind doing it. I mean, like I'm not opposed to it, but he trained himself up to be the teacher of young boys becoming men with wealth,
Right.
opulent wealth, where everywhere you go, you own a house, not rent.
Yep.
Yeah, and he said when I was talking, I said I hear Big Meech coming in. He said, yeah, he fucked around with us, them 50 boys.
Mm-hmm. That was my brother and them, man. I ain't really, you know, I used to do my little thing with the Mary Jane, but I ain't really get down like
Yeah,
that. You know what I'm saying?
well, all of the 50 boys wasn't even hustlers.
Right.
Some of them was just they homeboys and hung out with them, and the hustlers took
Yeah,
care of.
we was all, everybody had their little cliques out there. We was all tight though, you know. We would party together, have peaceful parties. You know, you got Southwest Detroit, E-Course, and River Rouge, and you know we were all like rival schools. But once we all grew up, everything was peaceful. It was just like everything had peaced out once I got out the military, and that's what I was preaching. I'm like, man, you know, we all our fathers and them, they grew up and they was hanging with each other and shit. We grown now. We can't keep fighting and shit. You know, if
Yeah, because
everybody go ahead.
before that we was over there with BKs and Flynn's.
Yeah,
You
Earl
know,
Flynn. Mm-hmm.
yeah, Scony and up the block.
Scony. Yeah. Yeah. I remember all that, man. I was right in the middle of all that shit growing up, you know. But you know, that's what kinda made me go to the Marines, man, because I ain't wanna stay home and I damn sure didn't want to go to school. I ain't had nothing to do. So I went and joined the Marines and then I was like, damn, why did I do this? You know what I'm saying? And then once they threw me in the grunts, man, I was like, oh my God. And I wasn't even in my unit for number like 5-6 months and the war popped off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was brand new, went over there to war. We came back from war, and it was just, you know, teaching the young cats how to survive and stuff. That's all it was about. You know?
OG responsibility, the same as if you was in the hood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it was. But it taught me a lot, man. It helped me out a little bit. I don't advise it for nobody right now, especially at this time. We need to stay, my thing is everybody trying to be organized, doing the block club thing in the community, trying to get back to the old block clubs to where they can have some type of political stand within the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And it worked in my neighborhood. They hired their first black mayor. I actually grew up with him, played football with him, but it wasn't like, like you were saying, you need a female. You know what I'm saying? It needs to be a woman. But he up in there right now, and I guess he's doing pretty good.
Oh, a mare is a female horse.
Right.
Most of us don't know that. And that the horse was a symbol of the town leader and the elephant of the bigger, right, matriarchy.
Right.
Like when you get to the elephant part, now you might have 50 mares under you, right?
Right.
Then you get to the Big Mama seat, and Big Mama rode to town with a monkey on her back. He just grew up to be a
Right.
gorilla,
Right.
and they wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
They thought Curious George was going to stay curious his whole life.
Right.
They didn't know he was going to turn dangerous.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
tried to silence him earlier, but it didn't work.
Mm-hmm. That's what it was all about. Yup. You knocking on. Yeah. Yeah. But that's like right now, man. I'm in my chill mode. I usually drop posts on Facebook. I be dropping your videos and other people's videos and stuff to keep the people updated on what's going on, what people are talking about. But right now I'm in my musical phase when I'm just dropping music. I'm knocking through the music. Don't nobody be hearing what I be saying though. I could tell nobody be hearing. But I just drop music on my page right now. I get back into the videos eventually. Like I usually do that all through the winter, all the way to spring. Then once summer break, I start playing the music and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
You be making music yourself?
Yeah, I do hip hop. I did hip hop back in the day. I'm a pretty good lyricist, you know what I'm saying? It's just I've been out of the loop for a while. I ain't even been
What's your favorite joint you wrote?
Man, I ain't really got no favorites.
Every artist got a favorite joint.
I got one that I wrote recently, like a couple years back. It was called Cosmic Flare. No, yeah, it's called, what is it? Cosmic Flare. It was called Cosmic Flare. I don't know where the title came from. I made the beat first, and then I just named the beat Cosmic Flare. And then I started writing to it like about 4-5 months after that. And I was writing it. I was writing some shit, and I'm like, I had to pull the dictionary up to make sure everything was accurate that I was saying, because I was saying so much different type of shit, but it was all kind of related. But that's one of my favorites, you know what I'm saying?
Do you remember it?
I was trying to remember. I remember a little bit of it. Damn, it goes like
People in the comments saying spit some. They want to hear some.
it's like
So before
determination.
we go into that, we on what's called a blues note hip hop knock to a knockback off of a zigzag zig flip across the land. Crooked Man walking his big tookie on an Angel Bay flip off of a Chicago red to a Detroit red to a Detroit dirty red off of a Harlem New York flip to the Apollo on a Larry Hoover soldier turnaround on the Knights is rolling on a zigzag flip back home on the blues note back to the hip hop, right? So all of that was just to say all of these masters that's behind us have us talking in the public about what appears to be a general conversation in order to get codes from one person to another. It's other people watching that's
Right,
just here for the codes. They're
right,
not here to talk. They're not here to be seen. We don't even know they part of the count. But when we start talking, Like when you said the name of the song, Cosmic Flare, we already talking on Malcolm today. We already on Detroit Red. And then Detroit Dirty Red, the song I got off the sister was called Black Coffee. Then your response, okay, so that's blue house knocked to the red house, back to the blue house to the red. Because your response was Cosmic Flare. That's why I had to ask you what your favorite song is. So the music comes from the Delta Blues. Delta Blues is the Delta Blue. The Delta Blue was abandoned ship on the Oprah Winfrey knock. Oprah is an anagram for Orpha, who when Ruth and Naomi waited for the family redeemer, Orpha, when she got free, was like, fuck them niggas.
Right.
Okay, now, she did a commercial with The Rock, or a solicitation with The Rock. The Rock is the Brahma Bull on the wrestling flip. A WWE, right, flips to a triple M because a W is an upside down M and the E is an M on its side off of a Pyru Crip flip. Right? So now it's a 3M flip, right? Which is Michigan, Minnesota, and Mississippi. Now that's called a triangle flip on the upside down triangle, but it's coming in off a right side up triangle off of a Dallas knock to New York and a Miami knock to New York on a storm front. So the storm that's coming in, study the name, is coming in to assist with the acceleration of everything. And Malcolm X is watching over it as a code flipper from the other side. What we call that a crossroads flip, right? The sister flipped me a rooster on the corner. That's a Baron Samedi symbolism from the Vadum. The rooster on the corner is the virility of the man that's coming to redeem or take vengeance for in some cases, right? And Malcolm is the subject matter. Red Fox is St. Louis red, is what you call the matter that crosses it, right? That's called a Celtic cross in tarot, right? So Red Fox, a lot of people don't know he was St. Louis red that he's talking about in the autobiography of Malcolm X, but some of us paid attention enough to remember, right? So the rooster is the one who wakes everybody up, sounds the morning alarm. When the chickens come home to roost, they come in to go to bed for the night. But when the rooster wake up in the morning, he send them all back out to the pasture. Right? So even the cows go get milked off the crowing of the rooster. They know that when the roosters crow, in 15 minutes, we got to be at the barn because Donald's going to get time for us to be milked. Most of us don't know the reason the cows so anxious to get milk, because if they don't get milk, it makes their udders sore. So they need to get it out so the soreness go away, right? Now, the only reason why I know this is because I'm from the land of milk and honey. And honey is from the bees. Right? And the bees in the trap. And the trap is the trap house. And the trap house is next door. Right? So if the trap house is next door and the bees in the trap, and the bees is the queens in flight, they in hiding. Then the girl next door is the queen, that's the bee in the trap, that's in the trap house.
Queen bee, right.
Right? So now we got to get the bee out the trap house and put her back on her throne. Right? So that's unlocking the gates. So who's going to unlock the gates? Go back to the Matrix. What do they call him? The key maker. was the key maker? That's Malachi York, right? He was the key maker, right? But he was set up across from Farrakhan. So you got a key maker and a master knocker, right? Farrakhan Red House, Malachi Blue House, York right, Scottish right. Right? Farrakhan can look in the face of the enemy and the enemy can't stand him. Right? And half us can't stand him. And we don't even know why. Because most of us believe he was instrumental in the assassination of Malcolm X is the reason most of us don't like him. Right? I wouldn't fuck with Farrakhan until Malcolm came to me. Because I told nobody, the only person can tell me that he had nothing to do with it was Malcolm. And then he gave me an analogy. He said, because they always love to give analogies. He said, I like in Brother Lewis, because he still called him from the other side, Brother Lewis. He don't call him Minister Farrakhan because he didn't have that name when he left. So he said, Brother Lewis. That's what he called him. So he said, Brother Lewis was like a professional, a college level football player trying to get into the pros. Right? They say he was this college level. He's not privy. It's above his pay grade. Right? All he can do is talk shit. Now he ain't got no juice.
Right.
Farrakhan didn't get juice like that until the messenger was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And he rebuilt the nation after War of Dean, dismantled it. They called it the decentralization of the Nation of Islam. When Wallace dismantled it, it's because everything his father said was right.
Mm-hmm.
See, originally, Malcolm was supposed to have been the one decentralized. They end up having to trade places because Wallace refused to run the red herring.
Right.
I'm not going to put my life on the line for that old man. Malcolm said, I don't give a damn, I die.
Mm-hmm.
And they traded places. He had to move his pieces. In chess, we call that a castle. Mm-hmm. Right? So he repositioned his rook. He repositioned his knight. Right?
Right.
In order to protect the king.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm run the red herring. Then Malcolm do a press conference. A lot of people don't pay this shit no attention. Malcolm did a press conference. He named the infiltrators in the public. Why is he naming them out in the open? And he constantly telling us the police are aware. Right? Mm. He named them in the public because he's telling Elijah who the infiltrators is.
Right.
Once Elijah know who the infiltrators is, now he can tell Farrakhan how to insulate himself. But first, Wallace got to destroy everything. Now you can rebuild it without these people having any inside power. Because they didn't infiltrate it. And now we can't say blame Whitey because Paleface didn't do it. Nope. Paleface can't get in. Mm-hmm. So when Malcolm got done explaining it to me, he was like, he didn't get drafted into the league until he left Boston and went to New York. I was already gone. Mm. I went back to fact check that shit. Right. Because I be believing to myself I'm hallucinating. And that the shit that I'm seeing is not true. Right. But when I go back and I see the video of Malcolm running these niggas' name out in the public, and he keeps, Malcolm from the streets. And he keeps saying and being adamant, I'm not telling you nothing the police don't know because they told me. And he said out his mouth, the Nation of Islam has been thoroughly infiltrated by the FBI and the New York police. The nigga that was standing on the nigga in the picture with Malcolm was a police officer. While Malcolm was laying on the ground, this nigga giving him mouth to mouth. He was a New York police officer. They had, according to the FBI files, they had a closed circuit CCTV camera crew up in the back of the Audubon ballroom Malcolm wasn't shot from the floor, contrary to popular opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Right? He was shot from a door on the side, and he was shot from somebody up where the balcony would have been. Right? But the balcony wasn't no balcony up there. They had already came in and made it where it was just a wall there. Right? And that's how they did it.
Wow.
And then the whole time, all of the major news companies in the country, all of the major news companies in the country was filming it while it happened. Most of us didn't know that the FBI had confiscated all of the video. Some of it leaked.
Right.
And the leaked video showed the same niggas Malcolm naming as trigger men, and he's saying they the police. Malcolm was saying this. So when I went back to do my research, my fucking mind was blown, man. My mind was blown because I was like, how did I miss this shit the first go over?
Right.
I was never supposed to, when nobody's ever supposed to see it. We was never supposed to, 20 years later, see the news footage of Malcolm talking about what's going on. We were never supposed to see that. But now we can see it. We see a whole different angle. Right. And now it's been unequivocally proven by the police officer that confessed on his deathbed. He wrote a deathbed confession. And a deathbed confession is probably more powerful than a living confession. Right? They call it a dying declaration. Yep.
Yeah.
So once he ran the red herring, now Farrakhan's responsibility. Where is this responsibility coming in at now? Wallace take the lead. Farrakhan gladly give him the lead. Anybody study the nation know this happened. And within 6 months, he announced the decentralization of the Nation of Islam. We forget that the Nation of Islam invented franchising. Elijah Muhammad was the first one to start franchising. We forget that the Nation of Islam was our transportation across country through their bus line. We forget that they had their own newspaper. They had apartment buildings in damn near every city we was in. He sold everything. And everything Farrakhan just about got back except for the living quarters that they was buying for our people. Because now the cost of real estate so high, he can't do what Elijah was able to do. No, so the sisters say, so it was the FBI and the NOI that killed Brother Malcolm. No, the nation was infiltrated by the FBI and New York police. Malcolm named the infiltrators in the public domain. After he named the infiltrators, they were seen on video camera. They have the video of Malcolm being assassinated. Okay, now, the dudes that Malcolm named, Malcolm said they worked for the government. They were agents of the government, but they were members of the Nation of Islam. They were Black Muslim Mafia is what they called themselves in news stories, right? So once this happened, now, if anything happened to the messenger, right? Now remember, Farrakhan always said the messenger wasn't dead. The first speech he gave when he said the messenger wasn't dead was at the Final Call Center when he first started up. He said, they say that's the messenger in there, but that's not the messenger, right? So the messenger leave, disappear, die, whatever the case may be. Then while it's decentralized, you just get rid of everything, sell it all. Farrakhan go on a hiatus for about 3.5 years because he don't know how to deal with this situation, right? But when he come back with a new vigor, and that new vigor was to rebuild what his father Elijah taught him, right? So Elijah taught Farrakhan how to recover the nation and rebuild it, and the people he needed closest to him. And if he listened to the messenger, he will be able to make it through to see the end game. And apparently he listened. Right. So when they was asking me, why ain't nobody killed him, they tried. As I said in one of the other videos, they tried to kill him. Right. But most of us don't rock with Farrakhan because we believed that I'll get to the Scientology in a minute. I sent Farrakhan a message about Dianetics. I did that. Right. When they sent the brother that was teaching me name was Everett X. Right. And the guy that was overseeing him was named Abdullah, who was over the prison ministry. And Elijah Muhammad can talk through Everett X, and if you wasn't real perceptive, you would never notice the switch. But if you was perceptive, you know that when he talked about the Radiohead, he was using this boy for a Radiohead, right? And it was like I was being personally tutored by the messenger on how to get caught up. Right. So one of the things I gave back was Dianetics. Why did I refer Dianetics back to Farrakhan? Because in Dianetics, all the rest of that Scientology shit they can keep. But that one book is literally tell you how thoughts is processed. That's such a critical key to understanding how information go through the brain to learn to be a teacher by giving information that connect dots that most people miss. That's from the study of Dianetics, the original Dianetics book. Now, I read auditing sessions, hundreds of auditing sessions that they had. One of the joints I was at had like a whole bunch of these big books from Scientology, and they were actual auditing sessions. I read all that shit. The only thing I would ever refer anybody to is they had a magazine that was a cold piece of work in Dianetics. The rest of it is they was doing for Paleface in Hollywood what the Nation of Islam did for Tupac and several other artists out there to make sure that they was being bullied by the same motherfucker, the JDL. Right? Jewish Defense League. All of them, no matter who you is, when you in Hollywood, you getting extorted by him. You either paying them or you gonna suffer the wrath. And the Paleface call them star whackers. But our people don't talk about them. Right? And they work with some people out of New York they call WASPs, which means white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Right? Who had their own little organization. And they was the ones who originally was funding hip hop for the original record labels. And then they ran into some people they call Jews, but they not Jews. They just pale-faced masquerading as Jews. The Jews look like us, and they don't belong here. Or else they fake-ass guy Yahweh wouldn't keep threatening to take somebody's shit and give it to them. They ain't from here. So they end up taking over hip-hop about 88, 89. Right when Jerry Heller came in with NWA, right? Clive Davis jumped from R&B and soul over to hip-hop with Bad Boy Records and a lot of stuff that was going on out of New York, right? At the same time, Clive owned the Face Records out of Atlanta, right? He owned, there was a couple more black labels that was big at the time. He owned them.
Mm.
Clive owned them, but he'll let Babyface and Jimmy Jam run it. I pay y'all. I pay y'all well,
Right.
but they still raping the artists,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, they was in it for the love of the art. They didn't really understand how to protect nobody,
Right.
you know. So, yeah, L. Ron Hubbard is definitely a code name. L Flip 7. Ryan is a short version of Ronald on a Reagan flip,
Right.
right? Ronald Reagan was a California governor, and old Mother Hubbard went to the cover to get her poor dog a bone.
Right.
When she got there, the cover was bare, right? So it's a code name. I could go deeper into it, but that'll take us all off somewhere else.
Yeah, you be knocking, man. I swear. Yup. You gotta listen, dig deep about what he's talking about, cause he be on it. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Daddy Red, I'm gonna take another call. I'm gonna take a couple more callers in. I don't want to just hog it up with just me and you.
Right. I know. I got. Yeah, but it was good talking to you, bro.
All right.
Yeah, I knew.
I think the first anchor was necessary. I'm trying to see how it's gonna end now, because we coming in off of a Detroit Red knock, Red Wings onto a Dirty Red
Yep.
flip. Can't make
And
this shit up.
one of the dudes when I played football in high school, one of the old cats used to come in and out of prison all the time. He used to call me Red Crow. Like, that's Red Crow, Red Crow. Yeah. So
That's a chief name.
that's who.
That's how we name our chiefs. You don't find ain't no such thing as a red
Right.
crow, right?
Yep.
But a crow that's red is a crow that got the blood right,
Right.
right? But he's coming from the crow clan on the totem flip,
Mm.
right? That's what he's telling you.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it, bro. Yep. For sure.
All right, man. We get to chop it up again.
Yeah, for sure, man. Peace.
Peace. Yeah, it's always
Yo!
what's going on with you guys? What's going on?
Wow, I get to finally talk to you, Chief.
Yeah, tell us what your name is, where you calling from.
Well, my native name is Amaru Osio Lacan, but my English name is Evan Odom. Um, I'm from Sacramento, California.
I already know you West Coast when you said your name.
Yeah. My most of my kin is from the South, so Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, and my dad, he's Blackfoot Indian.
All
Um,
over Mississippi and clans.
Yeah, I'm kind of in between. My bad at my cheeks. I got my wisdom teeth.
Oh,
My
you
native name
good?
tonight is Swollen Cheek tonight. um, uh,
Chipmunk peeps.
but yeah, you was spitting. It's crazy how everything is lining up. I got this song and I got the Red Dragon on my the red shorts with the dragon on it. Everything's in synchronization.
Okay, so
Um,
stop right there. T-shirts and blue jeans, tops and bottoms, reds and blues. Oh,
and blue
Tupac.
hair. I died. I got You can't well like this. It's blue,
I can
but
see it. I can see the blue.
yeah, I dyed a red. I dyed one red too. For my friend Keed who passed away. I don't know if you guys know who Lil Keed is, but I dyed one red in honor of him. But uh, are we going into Q&A or?
whatever you want to talk about. You here, but I want to get back to your name in a minute though. But we're gonna start with your question.
Okay. So I had a question like, okay, so me being young, like I've always hung around like the elders, and I've always been like the type of person like to absorb knowledge and stuff. I never really fit in with people, but it's like people assume that I've always had like my way and stuff, and it was always like weird ways of how like I would I'm normally like to myself, like I'm a people person, I'm cool, but just nobody really has anything to talk about like for real. So it's I
You an
normally
extroverted introvert?
hmm? Yeah,
You
I
an
mean, look,
extroverted
if
introvert?
I'm around if I'm around the right people, I'll hang out with people every day. But it's just it's not
Okay, so let me tell you what's going on with your nephew. You already know this, but I'm just gonna be your confirmation today. When you born to be a chief, the old people keep you around old people,
Yeah.
right? Your mother and your grandparents was responsible for that because you was born to be a chief.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're gonna be wired a certain way, and people gonna take the way you behave to make it to that you got everything that you like catered to, but you're not.
Yeah. I would
You,
say more in the spiritual realm though, because I peeped a lot. Like I'm a
mm,
person like
that's
attention to
why
detail.
exactly why they had you around elders,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because they passing on spiritual vision,
Yeah.
right? Now, when you name them clans, you name.
Oh shit, I'm getting hot. Yeah.
When you name them clans, you name. That's Big Mama. When you excuse me, when you name the clans that you named, and then you describing what you when you said they put you with elders, that you grew up around elders, all that, I already know you being refined without telling you what to do.
Yeah.
Because if I could show you a better way, you would do it. But if I tell you how to do it, you ain't gonna never do it.
Right. 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 You gotta
You
learn
ain't gonna never
things.
do it. But if you see me do it and you see that it's work, you'll use it.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
If you see the wisdom and use and being applied, you will be more apt to apply it and use it. The
Yeah.
sooner you expose to the elders, the faster you download the processor that we call wisdom maker,
Mm-hmm.
the aim soul. Now, only thing you got to do is go through your black sheep shit.
Yeah.
Your black sheep shit is everybody acting like you ain't there, but when they see you, they act like you should already know you the man.
Yeah. 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 Because it's
Yeah,
times
that's
where it's like
bullshit, motherfucker. I get the fuck out of here.
and the thing is, it's like I was so used to getting the bare minimum like from people. So it was like when I just they wanted the best for me and stuff, but they taught me what they knew. I don't really take anything personal, like because it's it's what they know. You can't teach someone what you don't know. So I couldn't really work, like I couldn't really stick to like a 9 to 5 and stuff. I make music, you know that already, but I just want to tell people that. But it was just I was always like counted out. Like I'm the oldest child, but when I was around when I grew up around my cousins, I was the baby. And so once I became like a big brother, then it was like I understood like the parallels. You get what I'm saying? And so I understood a lot of stuff, but I was young at the same like I'm still young, but it was still stuff I had to figure out. And it's just everything just fell in line. Like even the fact that I was able to um, be a part of YSL and get to see all this stuff, be the first one from my city to do all this stuff. And the crazy part is my great grandpa who had passed away. He's from Alabama, and he's Chickasaw. And so when Thug had dropped Lifestyle, I seen the music video, and I had seen
Did you
his
say Young
sister.
Thug?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm making sure I'm on the same page. Keep going.
And so I had seen his sister, and I hear, because my grandpa had passed away in 2011, and so when we started hearing, when he started to blow up or whatever, around like 2015, 2016, I was a freshman. And so I see his sister in the music video, and my grandpa says, "You're gonna work with her one day." Mind you, he passed away in 2011, and I hear this in like 2015, 2016. And so they said, what part of Alabama? My grandma's from Camden, but I don't remember exactly where my great grandpa is from. But he said, "You're gonna work with her." And at this time I wasn't even making music. I didn't know how, like, I was always
Wait, you
into
make music?
business. Yeah.
What kind of music do you do?
Alternative, but I'm starting to sing. I'm into
Wait, slow down. Okay, you make your own music, the kind of music you like.
yes.
Okay, now the next question is this: what's your favorite song you did?
Sigil 7, and I got it on my
Stop.
computer right now.
Okay, Sigil 7. All right, and you know I'm number 7, right?
I am too. My birthday in July. My name is Evan too. I don't know. And look, this is what I got. I had it in my dream. This is the Sigil 7. See how it's Tahuti at the top? And then right here, it was originally like Anubis. I seen it in my dream, and I woke up and I drew it. And so
We going
this,
back to your name now. We almost back to your name. That's where we hit it. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah, and so this is it was originally Anubis right here, but I put the ears back, and it looks like it's a combination of Anubis and a dragon. So yeah, everything is just the fact that everything is
Anubis
like,
does have a dragon form,
mm-hmm.
but we don't talk about that because that's going to tie him back to the Mexican Zolo and take him away from being an African jackal, and that's going to fuck up their whole life.
Yeah, and I realized that, like, before, like, I went into consciousness and the whole Pan-African thing, and the stuff behind that misguises to make us look into a land that we ain't even really from, or like, we've been taught to look in everywhere else except for ourselves. But I remember when you said on your live the other day that here we've always had raw talent, like all the leaders, all the artists, or everyone will come here to try to make something evolve. And so when I grew up around Africans and stuff at my school, I realized, like, a lot of them are book smart, but they're not really like street smart per se, like the ones that I bumped into. I'm like, we've been
Oh
looking, we've
yeah,
been,
that's no.
yeah, and we've
Look,
been,
if
I'm
you
like,
fucking with Nigerians, a Nigerian will talk you out of the hair that's in your armpit if he can make $1 out of it, and you won't
and
even
the,
know you look, and you won't even know you gave it to him.
yeah, and the Ethiopians too. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all don't even know where y'all came from, like, and
Ethiopians are wired different. They wired toward more of spirituality and warfare because
yeah,
that's how they evolved. But the Nigerians from the inner parts of like Lagos,
mm-hmm.
where it's a bustling city, you think you city smart, they will have all your shit and you won't even know you gave it to them until they remind you that you gave it to them.
Right.
They good. They good. They know,
Yeah.
and then they got this thing in certain cultures over there where they know how to read tribal habits,
Mm-hmm.
and they exploit those.
Yeah.
Like over here, this is a tribal traditional habit,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I got this too. I'll be smoking out of this. This is Creek Indian. So like when I roll my papers or whatever, I'll put it in here and smoke out of it. And it's coyote tail and stuff. You see how it? Yeah. I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
cut you off, but
Yeah.
I got my stuff ready. I'm like, if you put me in, I gotta
But
show you my
okay,
stuff.
now because they know this is a cultural phenomenon,
Mm-hmm.
they gonna try to figure out, they don't want to sell you the herb. They want to figure out how to sell you the rap.
Right.
Right. Because they know that we can use the pipe. We can smoke the herb out the pipe.
Right.
Or we can smoke it in cigar form.
Or we'll make something new.
And they'll sit there. Look, these motherfuckers will sit there and they'll watch your whole culture, and then everything that your culture use casually that you don't know important, they will have all that shit monopolized. That's why all of the Koreans got hair shops.
Yeah. Oh my God.
All of that, and the Africans come over here and braid hair.
Yeah. And the wigs be made out of plastic. It's long plastic strings. I'm like, ain't this about it?
Yeah. But look, we invented wigs. Our women invented adornments, right? Mm-hmm. And passed that shit around the world. The women always had weave. We trying to act like she's not conscious because she got weave. No, nigga.
I already know. I had an afro on my shit. My hair was already too much. I understood. I was like, once I grew my hair out, I understood like the hairstyles and stuff. Other than it being cultural, but nigga, our hair is alive.
If you study the history of the wig, all of the Egyptian pharaohs, the males and the females, shaved their heads and wore wigs. Mm-hmm. Right? When you study the history of the cornrow braid, right? All of that was used to be done in order to use the hair to put stuff in it. Right? Now, they got this fairy tale they tell us about how we used to store our food in the girl's hair and braid it up. That's half truth.
Yeah, it always is.
That's a half truth. When we migrated to foreign lands, those weren't food. Them was the seeds we was going to plant when we got to our destination.
That makes sense. That does.
Right. But they want us to think that they have enough food braided up in this girl hair to feed 10 people. And you got to be out your mother rabbit ass man. It's only enough room to put the seeds to grow the crops where you gonna be at.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That makes sense because they were talking about how like wheat and certain things from over here were that were found in Africa were actually from over here.
Yeah, well, the corn, right? Corn is found all over the world now. Corn was created by Quetzalcoatl.
Tahui, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He because it was originally a type of wheatgrass. And he just used the science of botany to make it produce bigger fruit.
Yeah, that makes sense because I remember when I seen a wheatgrass, I'm like, it looks like grass growing out of rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then from the wheatgrasses, we end up making all kinds of. Guess what? What's not ours? What? We fucks this shit up on a regular basis. Collard greens, turnips, and mustards. Now, ask me who they belong to, where they come from.
Where they come from, Rob?
This is gonna bake your noodle. That's Irish shit.
Oh, okay.
That's Irish shit. That was their contribution to what's now soul food. Yeah. They didn't have the same cooking style that our mothers and grandmothers use. And when they brought because we over here, we ate dandelion. And it's
salmon stuff to it is healthy for you.
Right.
And like,
so the collard greens was not originally brought for human consumption. It was brought to feed livestock. But when we learn how to cook it like we cook our greens, slow, break it down, the fibers of it, and if it don't stink on the third day of sitting up, you didn't cook it right. So they cooked the green down, and because it was never meant for a food stock. But Big Mama loved us so much, she got to figure out how to get the nutrition that this cow would get out of this leaf and get it into my babies.
Mm.
And she created some shit called pot liquor. And she mixed the pot liquor with the cornbread.
Mm.
And made what's known as baby food mush.
I wish my grandma was here to
Look, in the women, we had no baby bottles. That's some new shit.
Yeah.
They smashed the food up like this into little ball pieces and put it in the baby mouth. That's how you fed a baby. If they was if they was old enough to eat food, they was being fed by fingers.
Okay.
Right? Women used to go from breastfeeding to mashing food up. Right? They gave us some shit called Similac.
Oh yeah.
Infernil.
And they got
right?
worms
But
and shit.
before that, Big Mama would simmer down some stuff called pet milk. Mix it with some K-Roll syrup. And your baby gonna be fat like he on steroids.
That's how I was. I was my mom said I was like a big baby. Well, like it kind of explains because I was connecting like the dots with like the Star family and how Avatar connects with us over here. And the Lemurians, I think, are like the Star family of the Blackfoot Indians, like Mount Shasta. I think that's one of the tribes too. But like the Lemurians were tall. Like I'm 6'3". I want to let y'all know that. Like when I seen Avatar and stuff, it instantly like connected already. Like.
So did you see the second one, The Water World?
Of course, I watched that shit down there religiously.
Did you notice? Did you notice my man was kept calling old boy Cuz?
Which one? Which character?
He was the son
son,
of
yeah.
the.
He was
kept
talking
calling
to
the other chief's son. He kept calling him Cuz.
yeah, the one that he was always fighting.
Right.
Yeah, that caught me because it's like, cuz and y'all are blue and
Even lost our man.